What's up, everybody? Welcome to That Nintendo Show. I'm sorry I've been away for a while. Work sometimes is just very demanding of me, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and just record a video or anything. But what better way to pick back up than with Switch 2 leaks that have been just making the rounds on the internet today? We've got some pretty impressive CAD markups and stuff to look at, and people actually have got like these prototype Joy-Cons. Central Leaks has kind of compiled all this information here. So real quick, before we go through all these pictures, Central Leaks says potential Nintendo Switch 2 leaked renders that's making the rounds, but of course we don't know if any of this stuff is actually real or not. So take everything you're about to see with a grain of salt, but I'll tell you the best way you can know if this is legit is if everything gets taken off the internet at some point. So if my video or any posts you see on Twitter, Reddit, anywhere get taken down, that's a pretty good sign that everything we're about to look at is legit. If you enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if this is your first time here. I'm hoping as we start making our way through and past the holiday season, things will start to slow down enough to where I can make more regular updates and videos and everything like that. But I'm excited to be able to sit down with you today and let's take a look at some of this Nintendo Switch 2 leaked renders and everything that we've got, starting with just a picture of the system itself. Now, this is a big system, the way that this looks. I mean, it looks bigger, obviously, than a Switch OLED. To me, though, the way the design of it looks, I know that it's got Joy-Cons detached on, you can detach on both sides of it, but to me, the shape just looks more like a Switch Lite that's just been blown up. The Switch Lite, whenever I first held it, kind of just felt like it just felt different, and I think it just mostly because of just how it was one piece instead of having detachable Joy-Cons. I don't know, something about this just screams like, what if we took a Switch Lite but made it bigger and made the Joy-Cons detached? That probably doesn't make sense to anybody but me. Anyway, let's jump on to the next image here, which is a picture of it looks like just like a 3D print of the Joy-Cons, or maybe just like a, what's a good way of putting it? Just a rough design of it, like a prototype. That's what I'm thinking of, a prototype. I'm not gonna try to sit here and just speculate on all the stuff on this board. I'm not that kind of electronics expert. The main thing I think that I want to take a look at here is the Joy-Con itself. Now, obviously, really rough looking design, but there's a major change you can see on the front of it, and that is the lighting on the inside rail. Now, when I first look at this, it kind of looks like, I wonder if you'll be able to see those lights from the front of the system, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's still going to kind of be only if you have it detached, and I'm going to try to pull a Joy-Con off of my Switch here just to kind of look at it. Because the way that the lights look on the front is, it looks like if you're holding it like this, you would be able to see the lights down here, versus where on a regular Joy-Con you have to look at it on the inside. I hope this is picking up on the camera because I'm just looking at the Twitter screen right now. Hopefully, though, this means it's a good improvement there. We're going to kind of see there's no real rail, though, but we'll get to that in a minute. So this is probably one of the most interesting images of the whole thing. As you can probably guess, the bottom image is of the Switch OLED, and the top image is of a Switch 2. So we go from a 7-inch to an 8-inch display, and when you look at it like this, holy cow, that screen looks so much bigger. Actually, I missed some other images, so we're going to go back to the last screen here. Yep. So this is another one of those mock-ups of the new Joy-Cons. Very curious to see what this middle piece is. Or it looks like there's a contact port there. I'm assuming that it has something to do with the magnets for how it attaches. The SL and SR buttons look like they are significantly bigger than what we've got right now. And you can kind of see it, but on the back, there's like an opening for where there's going to be a new button, which I know people are speculating what it is. I kind of have a pretty good idea of what's going on with that. We'll get to that in a second. Again, another just size comparison. So this is comparing the regular Switch, as you can tell from how the kickstand is, to the new system, which has got the kind of same kickstand that the Switch OLED has on it, where it's so much better than the original kickstand. And then just an image of the back of the system. So this is kind of what I'm talking about with this new button. So you kind of can see on the triggers how both, it looks like the shoulder button and the trigger kind of flow down the curve of the Joy-Con a little bit more. But facing inward on both sides is this new release mechanism, which looks significantly bigger than how this looks. This is just a little bitty button. That looks like a full, just like mash it in to make it work. Of course, still looks like we've got Type-C charging. It's going to be on the bottom, game card slot on the top. I think when people think about the Switch 2, there's a camp of it's not going to look that much different than the new system or the old system, and then there's a camp it's going to be completely different. Like there's going to be a secondary screen on it. Maybe it actually is called the Switch Attached, all this other stuff. I think they're just putting more power under the hood and kind of refining their original design here. So I believe that's all the images on this post. So now we've got this next one kind of giving another angle at the Switch itself. Now, the way I'm looking at this picture, this is actually, some of these pictures are the first time I've ever seen them, so I'm kind of doing this on the fly. When you look at the right Joy-Con, it doesn't look like, I mean, compared to how the left one looks, it doesn't look like that we have an IR blaster on the bottom of it anymore. So maybe they realized that no one was really using that, and they decided to cut it out of the system, or they've moved it, or it's just not present on there. But I'm trying to think, like, I don't really think of many games that actually took advantage of that. Like, I mean, I know, like, the Nintendo Labo stuff did, but that was kind of a one and done thing that they haven't really carried on with. Of course, we've got stereo speakers on the bottom. The connector, like, well, of course, we got Type-C on the bottom, but there's other little things on the side of it that almost look like contact points, or they're just where the screws are for getting access to the system itself. And this is from the top. So, okay, this is interesting. So, it looks like we've of course got like power, volume. Is that a Type-C port on the top of the system? Interesting. Headphone jack, speaker grill. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's like a pairing button. So like you could pair your accessories to the Switch directly without having to do other stuff. And then a game card slot. That's interesting. Because I mean the Steam Deck and I think the ROG Ally both have a Type-C on the top of them also. So maybe that's just the trend now, is just to have a Type-C on the top. Because I mean, if you're holding your system, I mean, I guess it goes either way. I think that it'd be easier to charge it with the cable coming out of the top of it. Or if you've got it on a stand, then you could charge it that way. Interesting. Okay. And then let's go to the final one, which is just some more renders of the Joy-Con themselves. This new rail system looks insane. Like it's got to be double the width of how this is. That looks wild. But I wonder, because I mean the Joy-Cons are bigger, obviously, to counteract the fact that the Switch itself is bigger. And as a guy with big hands, these are super tiny. So I bet that these are actually really comfortable to hold. The buttons look like they stick out more, so you get a little more leeway with them. Travel, I should say. So we got a home button on the right, a button below it that looks like it has the same design as the capture button. Of course, we still got offset analog sticks. And then the buttons and the plus button. And then we look at the left Joy-Con, there is another button, which maybe that's the capture button, and then the new button is on the other Joy-Con. Still going with the 4-button D-pad instead of just putting a real D-pad on there, but that's to just kind of be expected. And then again, yeah, just another look at the back here. So the way the triggers look really interesting, because they've got, I know there's kind of a bulge here, and maybe it's just because of this mock-up, but that bulge around the trigger just looks way more intense. And then of course, again, that release button Just a huge button on the back of that thing now. But I wonder if it has something to do with it being magnetically attached. And then, of course, another picture of that. I'm trying to see if there's any other just weird things going on with these images, but I really don't. I think that's pretty much it. But everyone's really talking about this today, and I mean, of course, this came out from a Chinese leaker. That I guess I'm trying to get the full scoop on exactly what happened, but pretty much it's something to do with like a Chinese distribution manufacturer or something like those lines that's kind of leaked this out here. But yeah, this is a pretty good chance this is real. We don't, of course, know for sure. Again, if you see this video or any other video or pictures or anything start getting taken down, that's a pretty good sign that this is legit. Nintendo, just show us. Just show us the system. You have a trailer ready. I'm willing to bet you have a trailer ready. Just show it. We'll leave you alone until you're ready to release it, which better be in March of next year because I'm tired of waiting. But anyway, let me know what you think about these Switch 2 render leaks and CAD leaks and prototype leaks and all that other stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and be on the lookout for some new stuff, including Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which comes out in a week or so. So we'll have some videos about that coming up soon. Until then, I'll see you next time.